I'm your host, Sophie, and today, we're diving deep into a concept that feels both ancient and profoundly urgent. Cultivating patience in a fast-paced world. Think about it. We live in an era of instant gratification where information is at our fingertips, food is delivered with a tap, and communication is instantaneous. While undeniably convenient, this speed has subtly and sometimes overtly eroded our capacity for patience. But what if patience isn't just a virtue but a powerful skill? A skill that can dramatically improve our well-being, our relationships, and our ability to achieve meaningful, long-term goals. Today, we're going to explore this by focusing on three core pillars: practicing mindfulness, learning to reframe impatience, and developing a truly long-term perspective. These aren't just abstract ideas, they are actionable strategies that can transform your daily experience. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let's begin our journey into cultivating patience. Welcome back to Curious Potential, where we're uncovering the secrets to a more fulfilling and present life. Today, we're diving deep into the art of patience. But before we can even begin to cultivate this often elusive virtue, it's absolutely crucial that we understand why we often find ourselves feeling so incredibly impatient in the first place. You see, it's not simply a personal failing or a character flaw, it's often a symptom, a direct reflection of the fast-paced environment we inhabit every single day. Think about it. The modern digital age has fundamentally rewired our brains, conditioning us for instant gratification, for immediacy in almost everything we do. We expect things to happen at the speed of light, and anything less can feel like a personal affront. From that infuriating buffering video that stalls your evening entertainment to agonizingly slow Wi-Fi that tests the limits of your sanity, anything that doesn't deliver immediate results can trigger a swift cascade of frustration within us. This isn't just anecdotal, by the way. Research from reputable institutions like the Pew Research Center consistently highlights how our increasing reliance on technology has profoundly shortened our collective attention spans and, perhaps more significantly, heightened our expectations for speed across the board. We've become accustomed to having the world at our fingertips, literally, and when it doesn't instantly appear, well, the irritation can be palpable. But it's not just about the screens we stare at all day. Our culture, more broadly, has also played a massive role in shaping our impatience. We're constantly bombarded with messages that equate speed with efficiency, and efficiency, in turn, with success. Think about the pervasive hustle culture that dominates so much of our professional and even personal lives. We're told to optimize every waking moment, to do more in less time, to always be moving forward faster, better. This creates a relentless internal pressure, a nagging sense that if we're not constantly accelerating, if we're not always on the go, then we're somehow falling behind, we're not achieving enough, we're simply not good enough. It's an exhausting treadmill. And then there's the element of control, or rather, the perceived lack thereof. When we find ourselves stuck in a bumper-to-bumper traffic jam, waiting in a seemingly endless queue, or navigating painfully slow bureaucratic processes, that feeling of having no control over the situation can dramatically exacerbate our feelings of impatience. It often escalates into genuine anxiety or even stress. Recognizing these powerful external and internal pressures, the digital conditioning, the cultural messaging, and the loss of control is truly the very first and most crucial step towards consciously choosing a different path. It's about acknowledging the strong current that tries to sweep us away, rather than just being passively carried by it. Only then can we begin to steer our own ship. Alright, welcome back to Curious Potential, where we're unlocking the secrets to a more patient, present, and purposeful life. Today, we're diving straight into our very first pillar, a foundational practice that underpins so much of what we'll discuss. Practicing mindfulness for present moment awareness. Now, you've probably heard the term mindfulness before, but let's really unpack what it means in the context of cultivating patience. At its core, mindfulness is deceptively simple. It's about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Think of it as hitting a much-needed pause button on your internal rush, a conscious decision to step off the hamster wheel of what's next, or what if. Because let's be honest, when impatience flares up and we all experience it, our minds often race. We dwell on what's wrong, what should be happening, or why things aren't moving fast enough. That frantic internal monologue only fuels the fire of our impatience. Mindfulness, my friends, offers a powerful antidote. By consciously bringing our attention to something immediate, our breath, the sensation of our body, or the immediate sensory experience around us, we create a small but incredibly significant gap. This isn't just a lull, this gap is precisely where patience begins to grow. It's the space between the stimulus that usually triggers our impatience and our automatic, often unhelpful, reaction. And this isn't just spiritual fluff, there's solid science behind it. Neuroscientists like Dr. Amishi Jha have conducted extensive research showing that even short, consistent periods of mindfulness practice can significantly enhance our attention, improve emotional regulation, and reduce stress. If you think about it, these are all absolutely key ingredients for developing a more patient disposition. So how can you start? It's easier than you might think. The next time you feel impatience rising, try this simple exercise. For just 60 seconds, notice your breath. Just observe the inhale and the exhale without trying to change it. Or, instead of instinctively reaching for your phone while waiting in line, simply notice your surroundings. What sounds do you hear? What smells are present? Observe the people around you without needing to label or judge them. These small, consistent acts of present moment awareness can gradually, but profoundly, rewire your brain. They make you less susceptible to the immediate grip of impatience and increasingly more capable of responding to life's inevitable delays with calm and clarity. It's a game changer. Welcome back to Curious Potential. We're diving deep into practical strategies to transform our relationship with impatience. In our last segment, we explored the first pillar of proactive self-awareness. Now let's move on to our second foundational pillar, which is all about transforming our relationship with impatience itself, reframing it. This is where we shift our perception from seeing impatience as a purely negative emotion to be suppressed, to viewing it as something far more valuable. A signal, imagine impatience as a messenger, perhaps arriving at your doorstep not to deliver bad news but to carry vital information. It's a prompt, a nudge carrying insights about our deeper needs, our hidden fears, or even our unspoken expectations. This shift is profound because it moves us away from simply reacting to the feeling and towards understanding its underlying message. Think about it, often our impatience isn't just about the external delay itself, it's about what that delay means to us on a personal level. Why does that traffic jam bother you so much? Is it a fear of being late and missing an important appointment, or perhaps a deeper anxiety about disappointing someone? Is it a feeling of losing control over your schedule, or maybe even a sense of being disrespected, as if your time isn't valued? Understanding these underlying triggers is the first step in reframing, and this brings us beautifully to a powerful technique called cognitive reappraisal, often used in cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT. This technique teaches us to actively challenge our automatic negative thoughts and instead interpret situations in a more constructive, empowering way. It's about consciously choosing a different lens through which to view a challenging moment. Let me give you a couple of examples. Imagine you're stuck in what feels like an endless traffic jam. Your immediate, automatic thought might be, "This is absolutely ruining my day. I'm going to be late, everything is going to go wrong." That's the old pattern, but with cognitive reappraisal, we gently intervene. We ask, is there another way to look at this? Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you could reframe it as, this is an unexpected moment. A bonus window of time to listen to that podcast I've been meaning to catch up on, or to practice some deep breathing exercises, or simply to observe the world outside my car window without the usual rush. Suddenly, the same external situation transforms from a frustration into an unexpected opportunity. It's not about ignoring the delay, but about changing your internal narrative around it. Or let's consider a project at work or a personal goal that's moving much slower than you'd like. Your initial impatient thought might be, this is taking forever, I'm falling behind, everyone else is ahead. Again, that's the victim mindset. But what if you were to reframe it? You could think, this slower pace is actually an opportunity for thoroughness. It allows for unexpected creative solutions to emerge, or for ensuring a much higher quality final product than if I had rushed. By consciously shifting our perspective in these moments, we move from being passive victims of impatience, tossed about by external delays, to becoming active participants in shaping our own emotional response. This empowerment allows us to ask a crucial question, what can I learn from this moment of impatience? Rather than simply reacting with frustration, it's about finding the hidden wisdom in the signal. Welcome back to Curious Potential. We've explored mindfulness, reframing, and the power of a long-term perspective in cultivating patience. But how do these seemingly distinct pillars actually work together? Well, they don't just coexist, they form a truly powerful synergy, creating a robust framework for navigating the inevitable challenges and delays of life. Think of it like a finely tuned orchestra, where each instrument plays a vital part in the overall harmony. Mindfulness, our first pillar, is like the conductor's ear, making us acutely aware of impatience as it arises in the moment. It's that gentle nudge that stops us from reacting impulsively, giving us a crucial pause before we let frustration take hold. It helps us observe the rising discomfort without immediately succumbing to its pull, preventing those knee-jerk reactions we often regret. It's the silent observer, giving us the gift of conscious choice. Without mindfulness, we're simply swept away by the current of our immediate emotions. Then we bring in reframing, our second pillar, which acts as the skilled composer. Once mindfulness has created that space, reframing allows us to consciously interpret the situation in a more positive or constructive light. Instead of seeing a delay as a roadblock, we might reframe it as an opportunity for reflection, a chance to refine our plans, or even an unexpected break. It transforms potential frustration into a moment of learning or growth. This isn't about sugarcoating reality, it's about actively choosing a perspective that serves you better, turning an obstacle into a stepping stone. And finally, the long-term perspective provides the overarching wisdom, the grand narrative of our orchestra. It reminds us that truly valuable things, be it personal growth, significant achievements, or deep relationships, almost invariably take time. This perspective grounds us in a purpose far beyond the immediate gratification, helping us see the bigger picture and understand that our current wait is just one small scene in a much larger, more meaningful story. It's the anchor that keeps us steady when the winds of impatience blow. So when all three pillars are engaged, we're not just passively waiting. Far from it, practicing patience isn't about being passive or accepting inaction. It's a profound misconception that patience means doing nothing. Instead, it's an active, conscious choice to navigate life's inevitable delays, setbacks, and challenges with grace, wisdom, and a clear vision of your ultimate goal. It's about empowering yourself to choose your response, rather than being dictated by external circumstances or the fleeting discomfort of the moment. You're not a leaf blown by the wind, you're the captain of your ship, calmly steering through choppy waters. This active patience allows you to maintain your composure, make clearer decisions, and preserve your energy, all while moving steadily towards your objectives, even when the path isn't perfectly smooth. It's a testament to your inner strength and resilience. Now I know what you might be thinking. That sounds great, Sophie, but where do I start? And my answer is always the same: start small. This week, I challenge you to choose just one situation where you typically feel impatient. It could be anything. Maybe it's a slow-loading website that tests your digital resolve, a long grocery line that stretches into eternity, or even a project deadline that feels frustratingly far off in the distance. Once you've identified your patience testing scenario, consciously apply one or even all of these strategies. When that website lags, practice being present with the moment, noticing your irritation without judgment. Question your immediate reaction: is this truly an emergency? Is my frustration serving me? And then consider the broader context. Maybe this delay allows you a moment to breathe or to catch up on an email you'd forgotten. Each small practice builds muscle memory. Remember, cultivating patience is truly a journey, not a destination you simply arrive at one day. It's not about suddenly becoming a Zen master overnight. It's a skill that grows stronger with every single conscious practice, with every choice you make to pause, reframe, and widen your perspective. Think of it like building any other skill. The more you practice playing an instrument, learning a new language, or mastering a sport, the more proficient you become. The same applies to patience, and the rewards are profound. A calmer mind, greater resilience in the face of adversity, and ultimately, a more fulfilling life where you feel more in control of your reactions and your emotional landscape. So embrace the journey, celebrate the small victories, and watch as your curious potential for patience blossoms. Until next time, stay curious and keep cultivating that inner calm. And that brings us to the end of today's exploration on cultivating patience in a fast-paced world. I truly hope this discussion has given you some valuable insights and practical tools to begin your own journey toward a more patient and peaceful existence. Remember, patience is not just waiting, it's how we wait. It's an active engagement with the present, a thoughtful reinterpretation of challenges, and a steadfast commitment to our long-term vision. Thank you for joining me on Curious Potential for this deep dive into the patient pursuit. If you found today's episode helpful, please consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from a little more patience in their life. You can find more resources and continue the conversation on our website. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep cultivating that powerful virtue of patience. I'm your host, Sophie, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. All right, we've explored the power of curiosity and the importance of resilience. Now, for our third and final pillar in building that curious potential, developing a long-term perspective. In our fast-paced, always-on world, it's easy to get caught up in the clamor for instant results. We want quick fixes, immediate gratification, and overnight success. But let's be honest, truly significant and lasting achievements rarely, if ever, happen that way. In fact, patience, my friends, is often the secret ingredient that binds all our efforts together, allowing them to truly blossom over time. Think about it, whether you're building a thriving business from the ground up, mastering a complex skill like a new language or musical instrument, nurturing a deep and meaningful relationship, or even making substantial improvements to your own health and fitness, none of these incredible feats are the result of a single, sudden burst of effort. They are the cumulative product of consistent, deliberate action, unwavering resilience, and yes, a generous helping of immense patience. This idea isn't just a feel-good platitude, it's a fundamental principle of progress. James Clear, in his brilliant book Atomic Habits, describes this beautifully with the concept of the compound effect. He illustrates how small, seemingly insignificant improvements, we're talking about just 1% better each day made consistently over a long period, don't just add up. They multiply, leading to truly remarkable, almost exponential results. Imagine that. It's like planting a tiny seed and watching it grow into a mighty oak, not by magic but by consistent watering and sunlight over years. This principle isn't confined to habit formation alone, it applies to virtually all areas of life where growth and mastery are desired. From an investment perspective, we understand that wealth isn't typically built on speculative gambles but on consistent contributions and patience, letting your assets compound over decades. Similarly, from a learning perspective, true mastery of any subject, craft, or discipline requires years of dedicated, often unglamorous, practice and study. When we consciously adopt this long-term view, something transformative happens to our mindset. Immediate setbacks, inevitable as they are, or periods of slow, seemingly unnoticeable progress become far less disheartening. They are no longer reasons to give up or feel defeated. Instead, they transform into what they truly are, simply part of the journey, valuable data points providing feedback, or perhaps necessary growth phases that strengthen our roots. We start to understand that some of the most profound and valuable things in life, much like a majestic tree growing from a sapling or a deep, trusting relationship blossoming between people, simply cannot be rushed. There's an organic, natural pace to true development that demands respect and a willingness to wait. It's about trusting the inherent wisdom of time and consistent effort. Embracing this perspective means we allow ourselves to set truly big, audacious goals that might take years, even decades, to fully realize. But instead of being overwhelmed by their scale, we intelligently break them down into manageable, actionable steps. And then here's the crucial part: we patiently, persistently, and with unwavering faith work towards them day after day, week after week. It's about learning to trust the process, even when the immediate results aren't shouting for attention. And just as importantly, it's about taking the time to celebrate every single incremental piece of progress along the way. Those small wins are the fuel that keeps us going. Because ultimately, the most valuable things in life, the achievements that truly define us and create lasting impact, are almost always those that demand our sustained effort, our resilience, and above all, our patience. They rarely, if ever, come quickly. And that, my curious friends, brings us to the end of our exploration of these three vital pillars of curious potential. Stick around, as we'll be back shortly to wrap things up and offer some final thoughts.